Hey Master Gardeners, I'm here today at a really innovative greenhouse. They grow hydroponically, and who would know they're hidden off in the hills of the Whitehall area. They have a Flowers by Bauers business in downtown Jarrettsville, Maryland. But we're out here in the month of February because we've got to answer the question, why is it so hard to grow plants at this time of the year? So we're going to discuss that in a minute. I'm here with the son, Matt Bauer. His dad is a twin. They started this business. They're all graduates of the University of Maryland. Woohoo! And not only that, they've been in the Harford County area their entire lives. 6th generation dairy farmers living here. They went to Harford Community College and even went to North Harford High School. So homegrown family that's worth your support. But anyway, they run a scientific operation here that's amazing, because how many different universities have you worked with?
We have worked probably about 6 different universities.
So all kinds of research is done right here in this greenhouse that's dispersed and evaluated. So today we're here to answer this question. Why is it so hard to grow plants at this time of the year? So Matt, how do we answer that?
Okay, it's hard this time of year because we have low light levels. And you have to understand plants need a certain level of light to grow. And the hardest part is getting the watering correct.
Okay, and so how do we measure that daily interval of light? You know, we talk about it, we notice it, you know, some of us just get depressed when there's not as nice a lighting in the winter months. Well, the plants are experiencing similar, they're always measuring it as well. How do you measure your light here?
We measure our light in moles.
Moles? Matt, what's a mole? Is it the mole that's in my garden?
No, this is a mole. It measures light, and you gotta think of a piggy bank. So a piggy bank is thinking that each day you're counting moles and you're adding a quarter each day. So, and this time of year, like we might only get 1 mole per day, but we need 6 moles a day to maintain the plant, and then we need 8 moles a day to produce flowers.
Okay, so you get that? The light's coming in a form of photons. This is a photosynthetic reading that they're taking. When we talk about light, there's 3 characteristics of light that are included in a mole. It's intensity, duration, and quality. All of those factors. And some of those factors you can alter by having artificial light. But what you do in your operation, it's all natural, right?
Yes, we are all natural.
So no lighting systems in here. So they just key in on the natural features of nature itself. And that's why they're monitoring and measuring what a mole is. So how many moles does he need a day? He needs how many to make maintenance and how much to
6.
grow?
I need 6 moles for maintenance, and then to actually bloom flowers, I need 8.
Just to give you a clue of how detailed this research is, the reading on moles yesterday, here's the number, 1 point, and then all of these digits were the moles yesterday, February 3rd in Whitehall area. So it was a rainy day, that's why there was only 1 mole. So therefore, what's going on in the greenhouse right now? Are you growing? What are you doing?
Yes, we are growing, but like I say, on a rainy day, the plants are just sitting here doing nothing. But if we get a sunny day, then all of a sudden they shoot up.
So what kind of watering takes place? And this is important for homeowners. How do we water when we know the moles, the light intensity and the duration and all those factors are really low? How does that affect your watering of your plants?
Okay, you have to water less. So think of me, I have snapdragon seedlings. These are just little baby flowers, and I might water them every 2 weeks, and that's it, as long as the moles are low. Of course, if we get a higher mole day, I'm going to water again, but I have to wait until it dries down.
So watering is always related to how much light is being given. What about in humid atmospheres? How does the mole how does humidity affect these factors?
Humidity, think of it this: if you're really humid and you're really sweaty and whatnot, you're going to water less because it's going to hold the moisture in. But if you have a dry environment, you're going to have to water more because things are going to dry out faster.
And how do all the nutrients move through these plants? What's that big science word when that water evaporates? It starts with a T, I think?
Transpiration.
Transpiration is what we're keying in on here. So transpiration.
And what happens is when you have airflow, you have the stomata opening, it's putting gases out, And whenever those gases come out, you have the roots opening up and pulling in the nutrients.
So we want those fans blowing all the time in this greenhouse, because when the air circulation's taking place, we know the plants are requiring more water. We know we get good nutrient flow, we get good fertilizer flow, because isn't that how the fertilizer is carried?
Yes.
It's always carried by the column of water. So we want those breathing pores on the back of the leaf. You've learned about them. They're called stomata, stomates. They open when there's good air circulation. And plus there's other factors. What are the other advantages of having air circulation? Diseases, maybe?
Yes. So we have less disease because we're having the air moving.
Yep. Constant air motion is improving his control of diseases and things. So we've talked about that. What are some crops that you grow here, Matt?
We have snapdragons, we have stock.
And one of the big things that they did in their operation is for years they had snapdragons, and that was one of the major crops. And they would ship them from Delaware to DC. And the reason this plant is hard to grow, when you ship it, your dad was telling me.
Yes, when it lays down, it's called negative geotropic, and stock is like that too. So it's going to want to curl up. And if you look at this stock plant here, this stock plant came from South America, and it came in a box. So it was laying down. It came in, we cut it, we put it in water, and what did it do? It bent over.
It bent over after they put it in water, because once those hormones have settled on one side of the plant, it's not going to trigger it to grow straight. It's just going to grow crooked, and you cannot change that. So when your plants are bent, we just celebrate that they're bent, right?
Yes. and the general public thinks that they're bent flowers because when they're coming from South America, they don't know.
Yeah.
But a locally grown stock or snap will be straight.
And that's where they built their whole market for snapdragons, is shipping straight stems. And so that really birthed their market. But now with Matt, he's diversifying his retail operation. And what's the new thing you're doing now, Matt?
Okay, the new thing we're doing now is we have a market on the farm. This is a self-service market. It's a 10 by 10 cooler. You can come in, you can pick out your flowers, and it's a self-checkout. And and of course this time of year we have some imported flowers, but later this spring, summer, and fall we're going to have a full of flowers that we grow.
So here we are in this fascinating market where they're growing plants only in little perlite. There's no soil in any of this. This is hydroponics grown in this white little, you've seen these before in the soil mediums. Everything here is grown in white perlite, and then they sell them in their market. Now, one point to make though, at this time of the year, because there's not many moles
Yes.
in the greenhouse, what happens? You guys have decided to do...
We actually import a lot of our flowers from South America.
And how long do you import?
For the market, I would say probably about 2 to 3 months.
And by the time we get to March, mid-March, all of a sudden the moles increase. The quality of light, the intensity, everything changes. And what happens to your plants?
We have a lot of flowers.
Woo! Everything starts growing. So if you're struggling with growing plants at home, by the time you get to March, mid-March, whammo, the days totally change, and all the plants have a natural trigger that say, grow, grow, grow. Okay, there's your tips, gardeners.